full-blown acceleration here. Whoa. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2021 Jeep Wrangler 4xe, which is just a fancy name for the Wrangler hybrid. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy for giving me some time with this Wrangler. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that's paired to a hybrid system and an 8-speed automatic transmission. In terms of the range, it's 49 miles per gallon equivalent. And then we do have a total system output of 375 horsepower and then 470 pound-feet of torque with a total of 21 miles of electric range. Now let's go to the front end of this particular Wrangler 4xe, and if you guys are wondering, this one's in the high altitude package. That's why everything is body colored. But coming over to the front, notice that we've got the full LED lights. You've got these blue tow hooks which come as part of the package with this hybrid powertrain, and then you've got the LED turn signals there on the side. But that's just a quick look at the changes with the front end. Now coming around the side here, we've got two 75mm tires wrapped around 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear, and they've been all blacked out. I just love the look of that and contrasts nicely to all of the white on this particular Wrangler. And then you guys can see kind of a quick look at the shock setup there. And then notice we've got the body painted fender flares, and then we've got more blue badging here. Even the trail rated badge is blue. And yes, we have our little cap right here. So you just click that in, and then this is where you can actually charge it. It is a plug-in hybrid, so that's pretty neat. You could literally just drive around on all electric if you wanted to. And other than that, here is your full side view. Oh yeah, it's a hybrid. Okay. That's still normal. Now let's pop here into the back to see if anything's changed, because again, this does have the hybrid powertrain. Storage space, all that is the same. Notice this one does have the Alpine sound system. You still get the white top here onto the inside, which is pretty neat. But yeah, that's everything for the rear. So window down first, tailgate second, good to go. Now finishing things up with the rear, we still get the full LED lights. Notice that you've got your 4xe badge right here. Again, you've got a blue recovery hook. You've got the spare tire with the camera there in the center, and then the body colored bumper. And yeah, that's everything for the back. Now here's the door panel in the rear. Again, this one's the high altitude, so notice you've got the leather with the stitching, and then you've got the quilted design here on these seats. You've got full leather. There's the quilted design there and on the sides. And then we've got your vents here. You've got the window controls. You've got the power outlet, USBs, all that kind of stuff. And well, that's all for the back. Here's the door panel at the front. So again, you've got all the soft touch here, and then you've got the netting just down below. There's a quick look at the mirror. It does have blind spot monitoring. And then here's the seat at the front. So again, full leather, quilted design here down these sides. The seats are manually adjustable. And then there's a quick look at the pedals. And then notice that this is all part of the hybrid system. So you've got your hybrid, electric, and then you have your e-save. And then notice that is just for the gas. I think it's pretty cool. You have all those functions right next to each other. Got the light control, steering wheel adjustments manual, and there's one more look before you pop in. Now here's a quick look at the steering wheel, which is pretty much unchanged. This is just like the steering wheel in every other high altitude. So you've got the leather with the contrasted stitching. We have our adaptive cruise control, voice commands, controls for the center stack, radio controls in the back, windshield wiper stock, and then turn signal stock. And yeah, that's all for the steering wheel. Now here's a gauge cluster. So notice over here, you've got kind of like the green there on the RPMs. And then on the right side, you've got the charge gauge or power gauge, whatever you're doing driving wise. Then you've got your fuel gauge. And then notice over here, it shows you how many driving miles you have on full electric. It says the battery life is 5%, and then our driving range, and then our gas range. So that's all pretty cool. And then if we scroll through the vehicle menus, notice that all this is pretty much the same, except you do have that hybrid info tab, which you can see shows you the bits of information. But the coolest part is, again, you guys remember that we had that hybrid. So if we press the electric mode, notice that it'll go for electric, and then notice that we've got our e-save, which saves the battery for later use, and then you've got your hybrid, which says it's for the most efficient driving. Now here's the infotainment system, and nothing's really changed here other than the fact that you've got the Jeep on the backup camera. I think that's pretty neat. But yeah, you still get the heated seats, heated steering wheel. Response time still just as good. Still get the off-road pages. And then if we go over here, you can see that you still have all the same stuff. You do have that hybrid electric tab that, if you guys remember from my Chrysler Pacifica review, you had that same thing on that. So yeah, I'm sure you guys are wondering what's in this. You can see you've got power flow, driving history, charging schedule, pretty normal stuff. Down below, we've got all of our analog controls for the climate and for the radio, the heated seats, heated steering wheel. I love how the recirculates a Jeep. And then we've got our off-road cruise control, stability control. And then notice that that is max regeneration. So you press that and you'll get the maximum amount of regeneration, which I'll be doing initially so I can get the battery charged up a little bit so we can actually use it for the acceleration. Window controls right here. And then notice you got a 12 volt, more charging areas. Got the auxiliary switches. Shifter for the 8-speed automatic, and then notice that we've got our driveline select, so you have your 2-wheel high, your 4-wheel auto, 4-wheel high part-time neutral, and then 4-wheel low. This whole area is all the same, including the center console situation. Still get the grab handle, still get the nice stitching all over, and then there with the glove box, and then just like all of the other Gladiators and Wranglers, still get the Freedom top here, and then all that kind of stuff in the back. So no tools for here, do need tools for the back portion, and that's all for the top. So here's our window sticker on this 4xe. Feel free to freeze a frame if you want to read all of the equipment. I kind of have to duck with it so you guys can actually read it because my reflection actually makes it so it's visible. But there's all the optional equipment this particular one has. You can see the total price, $57,650. And that all being said, well, I got to step back quite a bit. Let's take it out and see if it's fast. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the hybrid Wrangler. So there's your visibility over the hood. There's through both the mirrors. They do have blind spot monitoring. Here's throughout the rest of the rear. So there's just a bunch of large square windows, and let's set off. So we're setting off, and right now it is in the fully electric mode. So you don't hear any engine, you just hear the hybrid sounds. I do have it in the mode that's going to do the most regenerative braking, just so that I can get a little bit of charge with the battery, hopefully, so then we can get a good acceleration in a little bit. But setting off, let's talk about how this drives. So first off, it's very seamless when the engine turns on. You can hear it turning on, but it's very, very seamless with the system. And this drives just like any other Wrangler. It doesn't feel weird. If I pull off that button with the brakes don't feel weird. The stopping doesn't feel weird. If I put that on, it stops just like an electric vehicle, just like a hybrid. And so you pretty much could do one pedal driving with this Wrangler, which for some people might be weird because it's a Wrangler. But I mean, to people that are used to hybrids and electric vehicles, it's really not going to feel too weird whatsoever. But getting up and going, it's really smooth. I like the feeling of this. I like how quiet it is in the cabin. When you drive a Wrangler with like the 3.6 liter V6 or even the diesel engine, you definitely do get quite a bit of noise. This is way more refined. It's a lot quieter in the interior. Even this engine without the hybrid system, it definitely feels more refined. I haven't driven the SRT yet, but I think that we can all guess that that would sound amazing, but would be significantly louder. But again, it doesn't drive weird. It's very smooth with the shifts, everything. I mean, it all feels great from a driving perspective. Handling wise, it feels just like any other Wrangler. It really doesn't handle weird whatsoever. It actually does a really good job from a handling perspective. You still get kind of like the floating feeling with the steering and with the body and all that kind of stuff. So that hasn't really changed whatsoever. Now I kind of want to get just a partial acceleration here. Yeah, pretty good when you just go partial on throttle. So I'm going to keep the regenerative braking off. I'm going to put it into the hybrid mode, which is, again, it's going to adapt for the most efficient driving. And by efficient, it means it's going to give me all the power when I floor it, because that's what we want in today's video. But let's get our full-blown acceleration here. Whoa. That's fast. That is the fastest Wrangler I've ever driven. Now, obviously, the new SRT is going to be faster, but I haven't driven that yet. I've driven this, though, and I can tell you that is quick for a Wrangler. That feels good. This is how much power the Wrangler should have always had, if you ask me. Like, that is perfect. And the regenerative braking is great. I mean, again, it doesn't feel super intrusive or anything like that. But that is good get up and go. I'm using like all of the charge, so we're gonna go back into e-save mode and we're gonna get a little bit more battery left, or battery back, so that we can get another acceleration here. But let's kind of start to get into selling things up with this hybrid Wrangler. So first off, do I like the blue accenting? Yes, but obviously that limits you on colors. Like, it looks pretty good with the white. I feel like it would look the best with a black Wrangler. That would look really cool. The black contrast to the blue, I would love that. But other than that, the outside really, I mean, it looks just like any other Wrangler. It hasn't changed a whole bunch. And in today's video, we're getting all of the green lights. This is like a first ever. Let's see how it kind of goes through. Yeah, still get quite a bit of body roll. Still drives like a Jeep. Doesn't feel any different. The front end doesn't feel crazy heavy or anything like that. Sometimes when you change to a hybrid system, it makes the front end feel really heavy. This doesn't feel crazy heavy from a front end perspective, but it just drives really nice. And then interior wise, with all the gadgets, again, the hybrid stuff isn't too intrusive. It's easy to switch the modes. I mean, again, if I want to go back into the normal hybrid mode, I just press the button and go. Really easy to use, easy to drive. Overall, this is a really good package, and again, it's got good power. And finally, we have a light go red so that we can get one last acceleration and then the video will be over. Here's our last acceleration from a stop. You guys probably noticed that one a little bit slower because it did all electric at first, and then it turned on the engine, and then it kind of started going. But still, it feels quicker than any other Wrangler that I've driven. EcoDiesel V6 or this engine without the hybrid system. Again, I haven't driven the SRT yet. We all know the SRT is going to be faster, but just completely different setup. This one, you actually get good fuel economy, whereas the SRT, you will live at the fuel pump. But that's all for the hybrid. That's gonna sum things up with the new hybrid Wrangler. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this new Wrangler. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.